Music? Life is good, right? Thank you very much for being here. My name is Janet Brown. I'm Executive Director of Grantmakers for the Arts, and I am absolutely thrilled that all of you have traveled to San Francisco to be with us for the next 3 days. Thank you so much for being here. This is a little bit like coming home for me. My first professional job was in the development office at ACT back in a long time ago. It was in the late 70s. I was 12. I was the youngest development person they'd ever hired. And it was the day of Bill Ball and his really exciting moving the theater here and getting it going. And so for those of you who understand theater in San Francisco, I have stories, and we can talk about them later. But there is, of course, one of our fabulous films that is running on your in-room television in the evenings. We're running these films. One of them is called Stage Left, which is a history of theater in San Francisco, and it's a really cool documentary. And there are several really cool films that I hope you'll look in your program and check out. Okay, so what's interesting to me is that in those days, in the late 70s, the San Francisco funders were extremely important to me. And what's amazing to come back here these many years later is that those same funders who were important in the 70s are still important today. And they're the people who have come together to really put this conference on for you. San Francisco has an amazing, rich tradition of strong funders who act collectively in many ways, and we want to appreciate that kind of association and trust and collaborative work that they do. So thank you all, but particularly I want to thank our co-chairs, John McGuirk from the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation, and Diane Sanchez from the East Bay Community Foundation, our very dear and reader editor, Frances Phillips from the Walter and Elise Haas Foundation, and if I ever get just a little bit tired at this conference, all I need to do is talk to Ted Russell from the Irvine Foundation. Thank you, Ted. I'm trying to channel Ted's energy here. I also want to thank the great co-chairs who put together the pre-conferences yesterday, which were absolutely fantastic. I'm sorry that I wasn't there. This is hearsay on my part, so don't put me on the stand. But what I've heard from everybody who were at both of those pre-conferences, they were terrific. And that was Ted Russell and Carrie Adams Hapner from the San Jose Arts Commission, did the technology conference in San Jose. And Ron Reagan from the Hewlett Foundation and Diane Sanchez from the East Bay Community Foundation did the SOMA Individual Artists and Social Justice Conference. So thank you both. And there will be lots of sessions that are going to bring those ideas that were in the pre-conferences as a thread through the conference. So if you were stimulated by some of that discussion and maybe didn't get to finish discussions, you'll be able to do that as the conference moves forward. Thank you all. It was just terrific. One of the things that I always like to stress here these days at GIA is that whether you're a small family foundation or a state arts agency, a local or community arts agency, a community foundation, a corporate funder, or a large foundation, your voice is important at Grantmakers in the Arts. Because no matter how small, medium, or large you are as a funder, you play an enormous role in the ecosystem that arts organizations and artists live in every day. Every amount of support is important to your grantees, and every voice in this room is important to GIA. This is an amazing group of colleagues. And I just want to tell you a story at the moment and let you know something that you can do for one of our colleagues who is recuperating from a pretty bad accident at the moment. And that is Ann McQueen, who is a former board member for GIA and also was the chair of the Boston Conference. who was in a bad accident. She actually was crossing the street in downtown Boston and got hit by a van. She's in rehab now. She has recovered faster than any of her doctors thought she would. She's doing great. And so I just wanted to report that to everybody. And we have, thanks to Tomer, who does all things really creative and fabulous with the conference, thanks to Tomer, there is this beautiful, huge card to Anne that's out by the registration table. And so if you would like to, please sign it, and then we'll send it to her. Because she's an amazing woman, and we want her to know that we've been thinking about her in this time. Okay, so we're talking a lot this year about serious issues, and they are issues of technology, demographics, and equity. The conference offers exciting speakers, and in a tradition that GIA has had for a long time, a commitment to artists, and that's evident in our plenary lineup. I also want to take this moment to right a wrong. I always like to get up here and apologize first, isn't it? This has to do with my years as being a lobbyist in legislative committees. First, I'd like to apologize to you all. But what I want to say is that in the craziness of the last week, we had meant to put in the member bulletin an artist statement that was written by the very strong support group that we have for individual artists among GIA. It is, and so I want to apologize that that didn't get done, but that statement is on our website. It's beautifully written. The title of it is Supporting Individual Artists, Preserving the Core of Humanity. And it's on our website, and there will be a salon session today about that at 4 o'clock. That's organized by Cindy Gehrig and Michael Royce. So I had to apologize that, because if you know Cindy Gehrig, you don't really want to ever have Cindy Gehrig mad at you. So thank you, Cindy. That's not really right. We just wanted to right that wrong. We're sorry that we didn't get it in the member bulletin. And there are also, I think, in the resource area, there will be copies of that statement too. This year we have sessions that are presentational, meaning that there will be a panel or speakers in the front that have some great expertise that they will share with you. And then we are starting something a little bit new called salons. And salons are really facilitated discussions. There won't be presenters per se, there will be a facilitator, and hopefully the idea is that, it's not an idea, the reality is that everybody in the room has a lot of expertise and knowledge to share. And so we hope that that those salons will be well attended, and that you will speak up and ask questions and give opinions. We have a baby at GIA. This is a very exciting young funder. Look. My son, who is a theater lighting designer, just got a job. 27 years old, just got his MFA, he has a job. The rest of my life could go to hell in a handbasket. My son has a job. So I just had to bring that up, sorry. On a more serious topic, we live in pretty precarious times, as you all know, in your daily work, but it is a space between what we know of the past and what we fear for the future that real creativity drives change for those bold enough to embrace it. And that's what we're doing here, I hope, today and tomorrow and Wednesday. I hope you will return to your jobs after this time together with new energy, new ideas, and new knowledge that you can and do make a difference every day in your work. As you know, Regina Smith took over as president of GIA in January, and every day I'm grateful for her advice and her counsel. She's been a tireless leader for us. And I'm sure that all of you have seen her at least once this year. The woman travels more than, Amtrak. Amazing. But she's just been terrific. And Regina will talk to you tomorrow a little bit about the state of GIA. But now we want to hear a few words of wisdom from our past president, Vickie Benson of the McKnight Foundation in Minneapolis. So thank you for being here, and I hope you have a fantastic conference.
Is it on?
Yes.
Okay then, hi there. I'm Vickie from the McKnight up in Minnesota. You know, you people from New York, you never know where Minnesota is. That's south of Manitoba, which is Canada, but it's also east of South Dakota and North Dakota, you know, over where Fargo is. That's where Minnesota is. So that's where I'm from. And Tomer asked me to say to you a rule about the GIA conference. And that rule is that we can't pitch things to each other. So, you know, it kind of creates a safety zone, as they say, you know. So what you can't do is go up to people and ask them for funds for their projects. You know, like just because the Ford Foundation people are here, for example, you can't just think that they're carrying around bags of money and you go up to, say, Roberta Uno and you say, Roberta, I have this idea for a project. Could you put some money into it? No, we can't do that, because that's against the rule for GIA. And if you're a consultant, let's say from Fargo Consulting Group, you can't be going up saying, do you want to hire me to do something? No, you can't do that. So I think you all get that. I think that's pretty clear. So no pitching. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to say something to Tomer. You know, Tomer, he does a real nice job here. But one thing, we have these lunches, you know, in these fancy places, and well, to tell you the truth, they're not so good. So, Tomer, here's one suggestion, is you get a whole bunch of boxes of green Jell-O, and you make green Jell-O, and you put it in real clear bowls, because it's real pretty, and then you take some carrots. Now, they don't have to be real good carrots, they just have to be real orange, because the only reason for the carrots is to make the Jell-O pretty. And then you put it in the you know, the bowls that are clear, and then you take about an inch or an inch and a half of Miracle Whip, and then you spread that over the top, and oh boy, then we have nice Jell-O salads for our lunches. So then, you know, that would make me feel good. So other than that though, Tomer, I think you do a real nice job. So, okay, so to go back to the reason I'm doing this is, don't forget, don't pitch. You can't pitch to anybody. Okay then, well, I gotta go and get the snow out of my driveway so I can drive to the airport. So, okay, bye then.
Look for that film at the Academy Awards this year. I'm John McGuirk from the Hewlett Foundation. On behalf of all the Bay Area funders, we're just so pleased to welcome you here to San Francisco and hope that you have a great learning experience. As we were putting together this conference, we had some pretty hefty themes that we were trying to pull together. Innovation and technology, the rapidly changing demographics of our communities, and the use of art for equity and social justice issues. And Marc Bamuthi Joseph immediately came to mind as one of our local artists here who embodies all of these qualities in his work. Marc is an award-winning producer, artist, writer, advocate, arts activist, educator, mentor, father. But Marc has also served as a grant maker. He was on the arts panel for the Community Arts Fund at the Zellerbach Family Foundation for a number of years, giving away grants in the $1,000 to $5,000 range to a broad spectrum of small budget organizations and individual artists here in the Bay Area. So he has worn many hats as artist, as grant maker, as teacher, and we're so thrilled to welcome him here this morning. Marc's new work, Red, Black, Green, a Blues, opens this weekend at Yerba Buena Center for the Arts, just down the hill. And then we'll tour the United States extensively this year in Houston, Scottsdale, Minneapolis, Chicago, Boston, Seattle, Brooklyn, and Lewiston, Maine. So Marc's going to give us a little snippet of some of this new work this morning, and I encourage you to see him in your neighborhood when he's there to visit. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to present Marc Bamuthi Joseph. Please join me in welcoming him.
times. Hi.